Garmin told the world, twice, that a smart ring wasn't happening. Then on August 12th, a single entry appeared in an Indonesian telecom database, stayed up for about 24 hours, and vanished. That entry said CIRQA Smart Ring. But the leak is only half the story though. There's a legal problem hiding behind it that nobody is talking about yet. Okay, it was shipped around 4.3 million smart rings in 2025, up 49% year over year. The market is projected to hit roughly 4.9 million in 2026. And according to Omdia, Oura held roughly 74% of smart ring shipments in the first half of 2025, followed by Samsung and Ultrahuman at about 9% each. Samsung's Galaxy Ring sequel has since been delayed to 2027. And Garmin, the company behind some of the most trusted fitness wearables on the planet, has been on the sidelines the entire time. Until maybe now. But before we get to what CIRQA Smart Ring could actually be, you need to understand why Garmin's own engineers argued against building one, and why that argument may have just collapsed. In September 2024, two senior Garmin engineers, Scott Burgett, their Senior Director of Health Engineering, and Joe Schrick, VP of Fitness, sat down with Wearable and made the case against rings. Their argument was surprisingly practical. A wrist gives you more real estate for sensors, more room for LEDs, a bigger power budget, and a stronger signal during exercise. You can think of it like trying to run a full weather station from a thermostat. You can measure temperature, sure, but you lose wind speed, humidity, and barometric pressure. That was Garmin's position. The wrist is the weather station, the finger is just a thermostat. And as recently as February 2026, outlets like Notebook Check were still reporting that Garmin had no plans for a smart ring, citing lower profitability compared to high-end watches. So what has changed? There are two things happening almost simultaneously. First, Garmin launched the CIRQA Band in July 2026, a screenless wrist tracker that competes directly with Whoop. It sold out immediately. Garmin quoted 5 to 8 week shipping delays on new orders within days of launch. And the takeaway was hard to ignore. There is serious demand for screenless, always-on health tracking outside the traditional watch form factor. Second, and this is the part many have missed, on July 29th, during Garmin's Q2 earnings call, Morgan Stanley analyst Eric Woodring asked CEO Cliff Pemble directly about expanding into adjacent form factors. And Pemble didn't say no. He said Garmin tends to move into categories and explore new things over time. CFO Doug Boson added that more new products should be expected. That's corporate speak and not a confirmation. But compare it to September 2024, when Garmin's engineers explicitly said no. And going from no to we won't comment on our product roadmap is a pretty meaningful shift. Okay, so that brings us to the leak itself. And this is where almost every article and video out there is mixing up two very different things. The CIRQA Smart Band, the one you can actually buy right now, has a full paper trail. It has an FCC filing with a confirmed model number, a USPTO trademark, and trademark registrations in Canada, the EU, and the UK. The CIRQA Smart Ring has exactly one piece of evidence. 1. Indonesian e-Certificasi Certificate 125338, filed August 12, 2026 by PT Garmin Indonesia Distribution. It lists the device as manufactured in Taiwan, categorized as a fitness product, with the model name CIRQA Smart Ring. Two other Garmin certificates filed the same day, one for a fitness device, another for a diving product, are still publicly listed. The ring entry was pulled within roughly 24 hours. And that selective removal is what makes this credible rather than routine. If it were a database glitch, you'd expect all three to disappear or none of them. The fact that only the ring was scrubbed suggests someone at Garmin noticed it was public and wanted it gone. Now, the model name field in that database isn't auto-generated, someone has to type it in. Which means somebody at Garmin or its Indonesian distributor deliberately typed CIRQA Smart Ring as the product name. So that undercuts the administrative typo theory, though it doesn't completely rule it out. There's also a fun irony buried in the name itself. CIRQA is almost certainly a stylization of circa, as in circadian rhythm, around-the-clock tracking. But circa also means approximately, not the most reassuring name for a device that needs to be accurate. And remember that legal problem from earlier? As of late 2025, according to Gadgets and Wearables, Garmin had never filed a single smart ring patent, not a single one. And Oura has been aggressively enforcing its patents through ITC actions that led to import bans against both Ultrahuman and Rincon. Ultrahuman only returned to the US market in February 2026 after settling. And just last month, Samsung tried to invalidate a key Oura patent and failed. So Garmin would be entering the ring market with zero patent portfolio to defend itself and no cross-licensing leverage, right as Oura prepares to go public, valued at roughly $11 billion in its last private funding round. Oura has every incentive to protect its market share, and a new entrant from Garmin would be an obvious target. But let's forget about the speculation about sensors, battery life, and price for a bit. The single most important signal is whether an FCC or Bluetooth SIG filing for the ring appears in the next few months. That's the step that separates an internal project from a product that's actually going to ship. The CIRQA Band followed that exact path. Indonesia first, then FCC, then Bluetooth, then launch. If the ring follows the same pattern, those filings should surface before any announcement. The other thing to watch is whether Garmin keeps the ring outside the Connect Plus paywall. The subscription debate is the single hottest topic in the Garmin community right now. And if Garmin launches a ring at, say, around $200 to $250 with no monthly fee, that is a direct shot at Oura's business model, right when Oura needs strong recurring revenue numbers for its IPO roadshow. Garmin said no to smart rings, twice. Then the CIRQA Band sold out in days. Then the CEO stopped saying no. Then a database entry appeared and disappeared. None of that is confirmation. But it's also not nothing. If you want to stay ahead of this story, subscribe so you don't miss the follow-up when those FCC filings drop. And until next time, keep it smart, keep it simple, and keep it healthy.